Welcome to Tiger Wolf. I'm Josh, and this is David.
Please be aware, this podcast contains strong language and spoilers. All right, so let's do this one more time. Explain the concept of rubber ducking to me.
So it comes from, for me at least, was like a programming technique to to understand your code better, right? So you take a little rubber duck, and you have a rubber duck on your desk usually. This is actually from one of my programming jobs that I got a rubber duck and learned this concept. After you're done writing your code, or if you're stuck, especially this really helps with debugging, is you basically walking through explaining what everything you're doing in the code is doing to the duck, as if to somebody who doesn't know anything about code. So like this is, this random
String of numbers.
No, this method that is pulling a random number is how you're rolling the dice. The variable here is the sides of the dice, that sort of thing.
Okay. So
I just rubber ducking to you.
Can we not fry the synapses in my brain necessarily, please? Thank you. All right, so
That's how folks.
he almost reset me there, guys. Isn't that fun? So I know you've been cautiously wading yourself back into some programming. How's that been going?
I've been doing some small projects while I have free time, and that essentially I built a light program for rolling dice. That's where that actually example came from. And you choose how many sides. Options are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, and 100. You choose how many. You choose if you want modifiers. Where the modifiers are applied, i.e. each dice that's being rolled or on the total.
Okay.
And then it outputs your total with modifier. If it's each, it'll say each next to it. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It'll say the dice. How many of the dice? So like 2d4.
Yeah.
Plus modifier, each if it's each. And then it'll have the total that was rolled. And then next to that is a line of what the individual rolls were.
Okay.
It wasn't like this one I did over the course of a couple of days because, like I said, it was in my free time and that with a couple of people who were testing it out for me, and I took in they're the ones that came up with like adding a modifier, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Add that in there. That one actually took the longest to add. The other thing was prettifying the output because it was just a list of like, this is the first roll, this is the second roll, this is the third roll, this is the fourth roll, no total, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was just the basic concept of it was you're rolling dice. And then it was you're rolling a number of dice. And then it was you're rolling a number of dice and it should look good. Things like that. And that one ended up being about 300 lines of code, which if I went back through now, I could probably shorten it up a bit.
Make it pretty.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't like all conceived beforehand. If I went through and like just like really analyze what was going on in there, and I did comment everything to help with the rubber ducking to myself. So like everything is like, this is doing this is doing this. Because I have all the inputs are checked to make sure they're valid, and there's methods for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when I have one that's for just yes nos. Because I have so many yes nos in there.
Yeah.
So it just runs through that. It returns bad input, which just puts out that's not valid. Please try again. And loops to the question again.
Okay.
It's a do while, which is probably not the best way to handle it. I could probably do it with a recursion, which would be good practice for recursion because what recursion is when a method calls itself.
Okay, I would say I don't recognize the term recursion.
It's when a method calls itself.
Okay.
It's difficult to for me anyway to work into the way things work because it has to be a caveat in it, otherwise it loops forever. So you have to have like if it's calling for this reason, then do it again and call it again and keep doing that. But then if it's not, that's when it actually moves on.
Okay.
And
So it's a reoccurring if then.
not
If
necessarily.
This, then
Not
thing?
necessarily.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ways it can be done. And actually, one of the ones I've been actually having to do looking into and reading on this one is permeating text. So basically, so like if you have ABC, every version of those letters in order. So ABC, BAC, CBA, CAB, BCA, ACB,
and so on.
I believe there's 8 or 9 of just 3 letters. There's like 20 something of 4 letters was I think 60. No. Maybe. I don't remember. And part of the goal is to not put out duplicates. Because of how you're running through the letters,
So
you can
like
easily end
not
up with
all
duplicates.
C's, not all A's.
No, like no ABC twice.
Oh, okay. That kind of duplicate. Okay.
And this uses recursion to do it best. And basically, it's from what I was looking at, one of the best methods is you call the method.
Mm-hmm.
The method checks to see if there's. Hold on. If there is. Fuck.
He's thinking, guys. There's smoke coming out of his ear.
You're not helping. It calls to see if it is basically if it's done. If it's not done, then it goes to the for loop that is running through each letter. But in the for loop is where it calls itself, and it's putting it in a string. And yeah, if the string is not empty, that's when it prints the string.
Okay.
So this method doesn't remove duplicates. So essentially, what I would want to do is do this, and then but add it to for C#. It'd be a list would be one of the best ways, a list or a dictionary, instead of an array, because they have built-in functions that can help you remove duplicates. So you basically pump it all into a list, and then remove the duplicates from the list, and then print out the list.
Okay.
I'm making it sound a lot easier than it is, because when I'm sitting down trying to write it without the example there,
yeah,
I have a hard time getting my brain around the for loop.
Yeah, like I said,
what exactly is going on there?
I followed some of that. I don't know if that's because you randomly talk about programming stuff, or if that's because years ago I fiddled around with QBasic.
QBasic is absolute garbage.
It is, but it was something it was fun to just try to learn.
David, we had 50 lines of code and it couldn't get it right every time.
It also let me divide by 0 once. I had a screenshot of that for years.
What I've been working on recently is I just started working on actually Friday is a simple combat system based off of a super duper simple combat system based off of D&D. Mm-hmm. It's literally just strength, dex, and armor for you and an enemy. And then you basically you attack. It rolls a 2-hit, tells you whether or not you hit. And then does the damage.
Okay.
And you see your HP and their HP as the prompt every time. So you roll your 2-hit, do your attack if you hit automatically, and then they do theirs back. I haven't gotten to the combat part yet. What I wrote up and it was like in an hour and a half or something like that is what I wrote this up in, which is probably incredibly slow, but was the prompt for picking whether you're a fast character or a strong character, which will affect your damage and your ability to be hit. And the numbers associated with that. I set up the classes for the player and the enemy. Basically, the only thing I haven't done is the actual combat part. Because I have the prompt, and I had an error is the reason why I didn't get to the combat part. And I don't know if I don't remember if I finished fixing the error before I left or not.
Okay. It may not sound as though I'm interested, but
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say other than, oh, that's interesting or whatnot.
I don't know coding, so I'm one of those, I can ask the stupid question and you go, no, what?
Well, yeah, but ask the stupid question because it's what really challenges. No, I'm serious. Like for any like profession, anywhere, if you're asked the stupid question, you realize that like one, you're not necessarily explaining it well, and two, that it really challenges you to be able to explain the stupid question's answer.
Yeah, like growing up, I always there's no stupid question. No, there are stupid questions, but if you get asked a stupid question, there's a reason you're being asked a stupid question.
Well, I always like it's a joke from Sports Center. There's no such thing as stupid questions. There's just stupid people who ask questions.
I guess.
And like I said, it was a joke because it was like a purposefully bad teaching moment. Like
yeah,
it's one of the little like Sports Center commercial things that they did. So it'd be like football players in a classroom or something like that, asking the Sports Center guy, like, this might be a stupid question, but and he's like, no such thing as stupid questions. Just stupid people ask questions. What is it? And he's like, never mind.
Only the stupid question things, people. Don't you know that?
But there really is not there really is not a such thing as a stupid question, just because people think differently, right? Yeah. So the way you're hearing what I'm saying isn't necessarily the way I'm saying what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about concepts.
Yeah, like not necessarily a terrible reference, but
well, like earlier the Minecraft wall you were trying to describe to me.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, the fuck do you mean it's 5 wide and there's a path? It's a wall.
That's why I'm better with visuals. I am terrible with words, which doesn't bode well for what I've been doing.
I mean, really, all you had to say is a wall with a path inside of it. But instead, you said it's an outside wall and an inside wall and a path between them.
It's a wall. It has a wall, exterior wall and interior wall with a corridor.
Yeah. Okay. So what I pictured when you said an exterior wall and an interior wall was 2 walls in our village.
Yes. I
and I was
that
like,
out afterward, I'm like, I was like, he probably doesn't realize I'm in.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say like it was covered or like that they were joined in any way.
I figured the corridor would give you the
right. When you said corridor, I initially thought of the tunnel we made, and I was just like, that's not in the wall. That's in the middle of the village.
But it's that style ish. I mean, it's all stone brick, not half stone brick, half sandstone. But yeah, anyway.
I probably won't bother too much with prettifying the inside of it, but we'll see.
Knowing you will.
Look,
I'm
just because I like my shit to look good, so you can blow it up with a creeper later.
Hey, I am good at not blowing my shit up with a creeper. I just leave craters all around the outside of the wall. It looks like an actual battlefield.
Before the fences were put in for the livestock, that whole area was holes.
Exactly. It was outside of the village at the time,
it wasn't.
Technically.
It was 5 blocks away from the house.
Exactly. It was outside the village because there was no wall discerning the separation of village and wilds.
Okay. Anyway, what did you want to talk about next on this?
So another way to look at rubber ducking is, you're like you were saying, it helps to explain what you're trying to do with whatever insert thing here. That could be extended to, say, life. Trying to better yourself type of thing. Yes?
I mean, I guess. I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I know. I
don't trust you.
Let me run down my rabbit hole real quick. It'll be okay. So looking at rubber ducking from that standpoint, I haven't been doing anything, grandiose is working on.
Pointed at our Zelda notes.
I was just gesturing. I haven't been working on small little programs or something like that because A, I don't have QBasic on my computer anymore, and B,
QBasic would be a terrible way to do that.
I haven't learned anything.
I think Java is similar.
Better. But recently I have decided, probably a terrible idea, but I have started rewriting some of my old stuff. And
I don't know what this has to do with life. It's a skill. I mean,
trying to rewrite things.
Well, that's not life. It's a skill just like programming.
Yeah. Both of which could, if,
Both of them are writing.
Both of them would eventually, hopefully, make life a little bit easier or better, depending on your view of it.
Harder, but better.
Depending on your view of it. But I've recently started rewriting some of my old stuff, or at least revisiting it, and writing up outline for a couple of different very old things that have been sitting in notebooks for probably a lot longer than I want to admit. But, sitting there having to write the outline and then explain to myself, because usually there's no one sitting near me when I'm working on it.
What do you think the rubber duck is, David?
Exactly.
It's Sovia. Or the empty chair next to you.
Sovia, Seth, that weird little mural thing we have in the break room at work.
It's not creepy.
It's this weird, it's the Target dog, but painted very badly.
That's harsh. I bet one of your coworkers made that.
Probably. So, and it sits right next to where I normally sit when I'm on break. So, it's usually who I'm explaining things to. But, trying to remember, the style of the world that I'm writing in currently. Then on top of the style of the world, the character personalities. And then trying to remember, okay, this person would probably react this way to this event, whereas this character in the exact same event would probably have a significantly different reaction.
Okay, so kind of like what we were writing for some other things, and how they would react to the things being said, and what their motivation for response would be, and what that response would be because of that motivation.
Yeah. I'm on one of the things. I'm 6 or 7 chapters in on the outline. On the other, I am 3 chapters in because I lost chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 that I had written originally.
Sounds like you're still doing better than certain other famous writers who
sucked.
can't apparently put out another book.
He put out another book. It's just not the book everyone wanted. And there's a part 2 of that book that he just put out that's coming out probably before the book everyone wants. I swear, if I was ever in that position, my books would be done before the show or whatever else was. Yeah.
HBO's got to be going. Next time we do a series that's finished already.
I mean, he told the producers the major beats. He had the major beats plotted out in case he died. Literally. He's like, look, in case I die.
Because he doesn't take care of himself very well.
These are the major beats to hit. How you get to those beats is however you get to those beats.
No, onions is how you get to them.
How I
Onion night.
am going to get to the beats may be completely different than how you get to them. Which is why the books will probably be different.
I can almost guarantee that if I wrote with my writing to write the end of your story, it would be very different. That said, if you actually get something done and I have an example, I could probably adjust it to something similar. It won't be the same.
Yeah.
That's like with
one of your favorite book series.
Almost used the wrong writer name. Both of them great writers, so it would be okay, but not okay. Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
His series was finished by his son, I believe.
Son, and I believe his wife was the editor?
His wife did the editing for his books anyway.
Yeah.
And I think she also did the editing for the newest ones that were released by his son based off of his notes, which apparently were a fucking lot.
Take good notes.
Well, I mean, it's a huge developed world.
Yeah.
And because as you reminded me, the first passage of the first book is all what happened in the past in a very interesting, detailed way. And then you dive headfirst into being reading about a farm boy.
And then you're like,
and doing farm boy things.
What just happened?
In the same world, much. In fact, I don't think it's ever discussed how many cycles of the Wheel of Time later it is. It's I believe it's referred to as the Fifth Age. Who thinks the fucking Fifth Age? Isn't Dragon Age the Fifth Age too?
The current setting,
don't get me wrong.
The Fifth Age.
The first fucking game is the first book of Wheel of Time retold.
Oh, that Dragon Age. Really, David? Sorry, I was thinking Dragonlance.
That's the Fifth Age too.
Yeah, the current age is the Fifth Age.
That was the Fourth Age when we started reading it.
Yep. Wow, that doesn't make it sound old.
I mean, it changed when we were 19 over to the Fifth Age. I don't think there's still anything coming out for it.
I think so.
I still have to catch up. I've only read the first book with Amber and Ashes.
I've read the.
We're off topic.
Well, yes and no, because I mean, my writing is heavily influenced by Wes Hickman.
Yeah, your writing is heavily influenced by Dragon Age, Dragonlance. Wow, I did too.
Yeah, see,
Resident Evil, Halo, Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
and Tolkien.
Very, very 90s, except for one of those.
Tolkien?
Yeah.
Which Tolkien is ageless, just like Robert Jordan. Okay? 100 years from now, people are going to be reading it on their hologram Kindle things.
Wait, they're not going to be reading it. It's going to be it's going to be the movie.
You think reading will die? You really think reading will actually die? In a century? Do you think do you think reading will actually die in a century?
There will still be pockets of people who actively read, but compare it to right now. Most people,
a lot of
follow
people
my
read.
logic. Yes, a lot of people read, but most people, when they read, it's electronic books. They don't.
I don't.
have
That's not.
traditional.
I don't think that's true
books.
yet. I think a lot of people have made that switch, but I don't think it's necessarily in the majority yet.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can understand the appeal of having your entire library.
Well, that and like
In
you don't
your
have to
hand?
hold the book open. You can find more comfortable ways to sit with that.
Yes, I mean, I can see the appeal.
If anybody ever got me a Kindle,
You'd return it
Paperwhite.
because you hate Kindle.
no, Kindle Fire tablets is what I was talking about.
Okay.
No, like a Kindle Paperwhite.
Yeah.
Then like that'd be cool. It wouldn't do me any good unless they also bought me books I was going to read for it though, because I don't like spending money,
No, you don't.
and
You're about as bad as I am. You were.
I like spending money. I like spending money. Just
Let
it's
me-
hard to find
Let me
the
finish.
motivation to spend money on things that are generally superfluous. Because guess what? On that bookshelf over there, I have a book I still need to finish reading called Hitchhiker's
It's
Guide
not
to the
over
Galaxy. It is over there.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not on the bookshelf. It's
No,
on
it's
the
not.
it's on the subwoofer.
Yes.
I forgot I moved it because
I was like, it's
I
not
forgot
on
I moved it because of the Halloween decorations, and I never put it back up there.
Like it's not on the bookshelf. I'm looking at it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's only a few books on that bookshelf. That's mostly
True.
my game.
That's
bookshelf.
mostly
The other one is my bookshelf.
But I mean, more frequently, I would go into a video game store and I look at something, and my fiance gives me crap about this all the time. I look at it, I flip it over, I read the back, I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Next time, and I set it down, and next time never happens.
Oh, there's so
in
many
most
games.
cases.
There's so many games I've done. There was so many PlayStation 2 games I did that too.
However, Digimon Cyber Sleuth, I walked in, saw it behind the counter, asked him about it, and he's, this, and he handed it to me. I looked at it, flipped it over, I read the back, and went, I'll get it. Did not regret that decision at all. That was a fun game. But that's literally the first time I've done that in a very long time. You're like that with books.
I'm like that with anime.
Yes, yeah.
No, actually, the way I am with anime is I have about $200 worth of anime I haven't watched yet.
True. I don't think you've even opened some of them yet.
Most of them. And some of them that I have, like the longer series that I have watched, was in like the summer days.
Yeah.
Like I was half asleep through most of them.
But like, you would walk into a bookstore and you'd look at a book and you'd probably read, the little excerpt they have and go, oh, that sounds interesting. And you'd set it back down because you would look at the price tag and go, I am not spending $17 on this hard copy. Set down. And then look over, is there a paper copy? And pick up the paper copy and go, $8. Next time. And set it down.
To be fair, though, I've also gone to a bookstore with $50 to pick up some of those books and then picked up other books.
Yeah.
I think that might be how I got the Hitchhiker's Guide.
That would not surprise me in the slightest. But to be fair, I used to walk into a bookstore and go, all right, I am buying this book. And I left the bookstore
Without that book.
3 other books that were not that book and not even in that series of books.
I remember how when we were in high school, my mom was so excited to have to buy me for Christmas a book set.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't care how much it is. I'm just excited that you...
It's a book set. God, I wish we hadn't lost Dad's set
I don't
of...
know where my Dragonlance books are.
I wish we hadn't lost Dad's set of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit.
There's
When
a
we had the
box
fire.
of my books at my parents' still I need to get. I just remembered that's where all my Dragonlance books are. Hopefully all of my Raceland books are in there too.
Hopefully. I mean, there's only 4?
I mean, 5. Soulforge, Brothers in Arms, and then the trilogy, Time Test and War of the Twins.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking Soulforge was part of
Nope.
the twins.
Soulforge is when he becomes a mage. Brothers in Arms is when he is a neutral mage in the mercenary group with his brother Caramon. And Time, Test, and War is after all the bad
Everything's
shit
happened.
happened between being a
It's after
mercenary
the
and Takesis being stopped.
Second War of the
yeah.
Lance.
Huh?
It's after the Second War of the Lance.
Yes, that's what I just said.
I was making sure I was right.
Yes,
I was
it's
like,
after.
first was
it's after.
Yuma,
It's
right?
after. Spoilers. It's after Rayson went. You know what? Go ahead and kill yourself.
Yeah.
That would make a lot more sense if you've read the books.
Yeah. But I mean, like, looping all the way back around to what I was saying, one of the sets that I'm outlining is very Dragonlance. It's fantasy setting, so on and so forth. The other one
Is that the one with a lot of people
No,
in it?
no.
Okay.
the one with a lot of people in it is the more modern
Yeah.
starting one. But maybe one day I'll actually get around to actually finishing them and, I don't know, get rejected by 7 book companies.
There's ways to self-publish now. It's a lot easier than it used to be. Especially if you can put it in a digital medium.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's the end of the episode.
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care. Bye.